Okay, so let me open my editor once. So here we created a new Java project yesterday, and we created a basic script. And I think we were discussing about the locators concept, right? Yeah. So guys, the locators is the most important concept of automation testing. For the complete WebDriver, identification of a locators will play a crucial role. Without these locators, it's really tough to work on any kind of a projects. Okay, fine. So what we are going to do right now means let us create a new. Okay, let us go back and study in detail about this editor and other details. So here, locators. We studied a brief overview about the locators, and even we have a scene how to identify using Selenium IDE. Now, let us see how can we identify using a Chrome browser. Okay, how can we identify using a Chrome browser? This is the most important thing. Let us see now. So, in order to work on this particular Chrome browser, open the desired application on that. Okay, open the desired application on that Chrome browser. So my intention is I want to capture bing.com, this text field, and as well as this button properties. Okay, this text field and as well as this button properties. So what I'm going to do right now means whichever the object you want, right click on that particular object. Okay, so I want this text field property, so perform a right click on a text field and see you have an inspect. Select this inspect. So whenever you click on an inspect, within the same browser, a separate window is opening us in which some kind of an info is highlighting in a blue color. When we mouse over on that particular information, corresponding object in a browser is getting highlighted. Okay, let me repeat this step once again. See, I want to identify this a text field property. So right click on a text field, inspect. So I'm just selecting this inspect. So whenever I have selected this inspect, see here some set of information is highlighting in a blue color. When we mouse over on that, a corresponding object is highlighting, with which we can confirm that this highlighted information is related to this text field only. Okay, the first word followed by this less than symbol is an input, which is an HTML tag name. Usually whenever we are working on any kind of a web-based applications, if you try to identify that, it will start with this symbol followed by a tag name. Okay, it will start with this symbol followed by a tag name. Okay, individual tag names have a certain functionality. Like if it is an input tag, majority of the cases it's going to be a text field where it will enter the inputs from a user. If it is a majority of the cases it will be a hyperlinks. Okay, like that, depending on a tag we can decide it. Okay, so fine. So the next point out over here is within this browser, followed by a tag name, we have class is equal to the property was assigned in a double quotes. ID is equal to the property was assigned in a double quotes. Name the property was assigned in a double quotes. A title, type, and all these things were assigning in a double quotes. So the point out over here is individual properties are assigning with a double quotes. But here, before moving further, the first thing we need to know is various properties for an object. What are all the various properties it will display for a particular object? The first property is an ID, class, name, type, value, title. So these are all the various properties of a particular object. ID, class, name, type, value, title. These are all the various properties for a particular object. Okay, so among these many properties, what we need to do means we can pick any one of these properties. We can pick any one from this and we can use in our program. Okay, it's not a mandatory that for every object it should have all these 6 properties. Any one would be more than enough for us to identify. Whereas if an object is having a type, value and a title, we can't identify any object which has only these properties. Okay, if an object is having only type, value and a title, we can't identify it directly. Okay, if an object is having an ID, class and a name, our WebDriver will try to recognize that. See here, class is equal to class name. So we can copy this name and we can write down in your program. ID is equal to, in order to select it, just double click on that value, automatically that value will be selected. And you can copy it, right click and a copy, and you can use it in our program. But if an object is having only a title, a type and as well as a value properties, only these 3, we can't identify directly using a WebDriver or a tool. And in such a cases, if an object is having only these properties, then we will write down XPath or CSS. Okay, so the thumb rule, guys, this is the first thumb rule which you people need to remember here. Okay, the first thumb rule you need to remember is if an object is having any of these below properties like a type, a value and a title, we can't identify that particular object. Okay, in such cases, we need to go for an XPath or CSS. And another thumb rule out over here is if an object is having ID is equal to CAS some name value, comma name is equal to CAD some number. See here, if this kind of numbers are there for any particular object, even in such cases, we won't use these properties. Okay, we won't use these properties. Means we won't ask our WebDriver to use these properties and perform operations. Why? They may change when a page reloads. Okay, they may change when a page reloads. For our additional clarity, I'm just opening a Salesforce application for an instance to show you the same. Okay, I'm trying to log in into the Salesforce application here. Okay, let me show you that example where ID has such property so that we can easily understand that. Okay, so inspect. I'm just trying to show you a small property here, guys. See here, we have a tag name as a iframe. I have a highlighted one object tag name as a iframe. See, it has an ID property like this. Okay, so ID property of that particular object is this one. And even the same object has a name property, copy it and paste it here. Okay, see ID and a name property for that particular object are this at first time loading. Okay, now what I am doing means let me log out from this application and let me navigate back to the same application again, either on a same browser instance after some time, this value will change. It won't be unique all the time. These values will change. Okay, so new user inspect, and here as of now in this situation it is remaining as a 180. See, earlier if you observe the value, this one is, see, let me highlight it. Try to observe the difference. So whenever the page got reloaded, okay, whenever the page got reloaded, if you observe these values, the last 3 values or the last 6 values, if you observe, this number is changing. See here guys, this number is changing, the same object. So the ultimate point is whenever you are capturing an object properties, if you identify any number here, don't prefer those properties. There is a possibility for them to change. Okay, there is a possibility for those properties to change. When can we use these properties means until we get a confirmation from the front end team who is handling these properties. If they confirm that they won't change the properties or it won't change in every refresh, then we can use it. If not, we are not going to use these properties. So the bottom line is, if an object is having any numbers in an ID, name and a class, we are not going to touch that. We are going to choose a different property. And if any object is having a type value and a title, we are not going to use that particular object as well. Good. Am I clear for you all till now, or do you have any questions for me? Swati, Fani, Ravi, Kalyani, am I clear for you till now? Swati, Fani? Okay. Okay. Just add your inputs. If it is confusing, do let me know, as this is the most important concept which we should learn before moving further. Okay. Good. Done. So once we are done up to here, these 2 properties, so these 2 most important conditions. So directly what you will do means, whatever the property we identified, we will copy it and we will specify in our program. That's a simple program which we usually do. Okay. And then the another kind of a scenario what we usually consider here is, okay, so we will copy this property and we will paste your program. Here, if an object is having this, we need to write down an XPath or a CSS. What exactly this XPath and a CSS is? How can we use this XPath and as well as a CSS? Right, even we need to know about this XPath and a CSS. Right, so the simple point out over here with respect to this XPath and CSS is, generally this XPath we usually use if we are unable to identify with the default properties, and it is designed to allow the navigation of an XML document with the purpose of selecting individual elements by specifying some object information. By clearly specifying some object information, we are going to identify in an XPath. The syntax for an XPath is //HTML tag name, open braces, @ property type is equal to property value is the syntax. Okay, cool. So here, this is a sample HTML which I have pasted here. This is a tag name. The one which I have highlighted in an orange color is a tag name. Okay, so everything in every HTML tag, if any name followed by this symbol, the starting word, we can call it as a tag name. Okay, in the Salesforce example here, we can consider iframe as a tag. In an above example, div as a tag. So in this example, body is a tag. So like that. In this example, HTML is a tag. And in this example, script is a tag. So depending on our need or depending on this particular application, we can choose a respective tags here. Okay, cool. So done up to here. So the next point is, okay, once we are done up to here, so the next point of what we need to consider is, okay, so the next point of what we people need to consider out over here is, okay, the tag name. The syntax here is slash slash, okay, the XPath the syntax is slash slash tag name open braces at the rate property type is equal to property value. Okay, property type is equal to property value. Okay, so the next point here is, once after we have specified this syntax, let us try to implement this syntax. Okay, let us try to implement this syntax. Okay, fine. So how can we implement this? So how we are going to do that? So within a within a Chrome browser, we opened this HTML info, right? There, click Control plus F. See here. Here I pressed Control plus F. See here. Here you can find this info as a find. So here I want to identify this object which is having a title. So copy this, Control F. The input, the tag name for this one is an input. Slash slash input open braces at the rate the title is equal to close the braces. I have just specified the syntax. Whenever I specified the syntax, if you observe here, one of one, the corresponding object is highlighting here. The corresponding object is highlighting with an yellow color. See, the simple thing is, we can directly write this syntax in our program. But before writing the syntax, we need to cross check whether it is a valid syntax or not. With this syntax, whether we were able to identify an object in a browser or not. For that reason, we are trying to search here and it is displaying a one of one. So it means we can confirm that with which it was able to identify. For suppose this title, I'm changing it to Surendra. See here, it is getting as a 0 as a 0. The meaning is with the specified locator, there were no objects in a browser. That's what it is specifying. Okay, with the specified locators, there were no objects in a browser. That's what it is specifying. Okay, cool. So this is a simple thing. And the another way we can check whether we have created a valid XPath or not is $X open braces double quotes paste the XPath close the braces here. Here within the same we are in an elements tab. We have a console tab here, right? Copy this XPath in the console tab. Write this syntax $X open braces $X open braces double quotes paste the XPath close the double quotes close the braces and hit enter. Okay, so here it has some error. Okay, see I forgot to add a $X. Okay, we need to specify $X. It's an XPath, so $X. And now do this one. Click on enter. See the corresponding object is identifying. So the bottom line is, once after you implemented your XPath using this particular syntax, Okay, once after we implemented an XPath using this particular syntax, to know whether it is a valid XPath or an invalid XPath, we need to verify either in a console tab, or here we can use it a control F here. Okay, cool. So guys, do you have any questions? If so, please let me know. Okay, whenever you have any questions, please ping me in a chat window. Okay, so that I can address them. Okay, please feel free to address your questions. So this is the most important concept of automation testing. So please don't neglect it. Okay, and then if I have a single property, I can specify like this. So if I want to pass my multiple properties, then the syntax will be here within the braces and at the rate property type 2 is equal to property value 2 in the single quote. That's it. If you want, you can specify multiple properties for that particular object. If you want, we can specify multiple properties of a same object. So here the same object is having a title property and as well as a class name, right? Let us try to identify using these things. / input open braces at the rate title is equal to, and this is a class, right? At the rate class is equal to, close the braces. See, we were able to identify this object. We can specify multiple properties to identify an object. Okay, we can specify multiple properties in order to identify a particular object. Okay, fine. Done up to here, guys. This is another simple thing which you people need to remember. The syntax in passing a multiple properties is a / tag name at the rate property type is equal to property value. So guys, this is not only for this, even for this also we can use it. Okay, even for this. So there is a HTML. So this is having a class name. So here / HTML open braces at the rate a class is equal to. We can identify that. So whatever the tag might be, I need to follow this syntax. That's it. Whichever the object might be, I don't mind. So I just need to follow that particular syntax and I can identify that. Okay. I hope I'm clear for everybody with these syntaxes. And then the another point out over here is even we can pass in a different way. So here / input open braces, even we can pass a different properties like this. It won't work for this particular object. You know, if you want to pass a side-by-side objects, in such a cases we can use it. So we will specify the first object followed by a second object. See, assume that your requirement is like this. I'm just for a sake I'm explaining, guys. Assume that you have a text field first. Immediately after a text field there is a radio button. Okay, there is a radio button. So we will specify this text field first followed by a radio button. The meaning is this text field is followed by a radio button. That's what we need to specify in a real time when working on our projects. So there are certain test cases in a manual where in which they will ask us to do that. See here, let me try to identify this class td / td open braces at the rate class is equal to. See here, guys, when you identify this particular one, in this scenario, I have a 17 objects. So I have a 17 objects with the same property. So what I want to do right now, so let me decode it. So here, there are 17 objects are there in this page with this property. And my object is the first object. Okay, mine is 1 of 17. So in such a cases, among all those 17, I want only the first object. So here I'm surrounding this one with the braces as a 1. So here as of now 1 of 1 is coming. If you want to specify 2, 3 like that. Okay, let me write down that particular syntax as well. So here, let me update this in a running notes. With a specified XPath, if we have multiple properties, then we will use below syntax to access the desired object. So here, open braces, XPath, close the braces of desired index. Okay, so open braces, XPath, close the braces. If I want my fifth object, this is the XPath if we want fifth object. Okay, in the previous scenario in this browser, I want only the first object, hence it is specifying as of 1. Okay, this is what an XPath for the first object. See, this text field is getting highlighted here. This text field, and followed by a text field, you have an ID property. So here / input open braces at the rate ID is equal to this one. See here guys, if you observe, directly we are identifying this text field. But how we have a referred, see, directly we can identify this a text field like this also. But the why we have a identified like this means for the first column or the first row, this should be there. So I don't want my username column or the first name column in a 10th row or 20th row. If I give like this, wherever this particular object is there in the entire web page, my script will try and my script will perform the operations. But I don't want like that. I just want my object to be like this. So what it will happen, whichever is displaying first of this followed by this one, it will try to do that. For suppose, assume that mine is a last name field. Okay, assume that mine is a last name field. At the time of a creation of my automation test scripts, here it was a last name, not the first name. The highlighted one is a last name, but later they change it to the first name. So here this syntax will caught that particular issue and states that the first field should be a last name where it was changed to a first name. Like that, it will convey that message. So if you are specifying these many properties means followed by this column, you need to go with this property. Okay, column first and then. So we are specifying a multiple properties here in this XPath. Okay, we are specifying a multiple properties in this XPath like this. Okay, cool. Am I clear for you all so far, or do you have any questions for me? Okay, fine. Okay, fine. So guys, am I clear for you all? Do you have any questions for me? Okay, great. Done up to here. Okay, done up to here. So this is a simple concept of how to handle this. Okay, this is a typical XPath guys, which we usually follow in a real times. And then the another way is, for suppose when we are working on our projects, there are certain objects which don't have a property at all. Okay, there are certain objects which don't have a property at all. In such cases, okay, in such cases, we will be considering the nearby properties like following, or a parent, or a sibling. These kind of an XPaths we can use, and we will continue that execution. Okay, these kind of an XPaths we will use and we will continue the execution. Okay, cool. Fine. So this is a simple thing how to handle this particular concept. Okay, cool. Fine, guys. So these are the various ways, and these are following and these are sibling. I will explain in a further classes with an examples. If I add this concept, that will be a bit confusing for you. So I will explain this concept at a later point of time. But before moving further, is this point clear for everybody? So guys, if you have any questions, do let me know. I can help you out in explaining them. Let me continue with a small concept. See guys, this parent, right? How can we write down a parent means? Simple. This is my object, right? Which is having an ID property. So I'm just trying to show you how the parent looks like. Okay, the sibling and the following will discuss in a moving further classes. But how exactly this parent looks like means // input open braces at the rate ID is equal to. Okay, fine. So here /parent of. See, we need to specify the tag name of that particular parent, TD. For this object, whichever the parent TD is there, identify that. See here, if you clearly observe, whenever I have specified the parent TD, the above TD is highlighted. So generally, whenever you are working on certain objects, we don't have a specific property for them. In such cases, we are going to use this concept and we are going to work. Okay, we are going to use this particular concept and we are going to work in a projects. Okay, so this is the another way of writing down an expanse. Okay, and moreover, guys, if you observe here, this is a table body, TR, it is having a multiple TRs. So depending, usually when we are working on a scenario, we will see how to write down the XPaths for the individual things. But this is a high level way, how can we write down an XPath? Okay, so this is a high level way, how can we write down an XPath? And we need to discuss about a parent, following, and as well as a sibling, which we will continue in the tomorrow's